Kingy Flake, yeah, yeah. And Vibe Nation, say, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Alright, I go to work. Yeah, let's go, alright.
Open up your mind, dig deeper inside, then see what you find. It's a vibe, get myself aligned, won't waste any time, this can't be defined. It's a vibe, Vibe Nation. We LIP, it's Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, Vibe Nation. We LIP, Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, yeah. Earn your respect, make you a check. Hope you prepare for whatever is next. I gotta honor the code no matter.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
And I ain't breaking the sweat. I am so comfortable up in my element. I remember everything like an elephant. Can't involve myself if it ain't intelligent. I feel it shining on me. Yeah, that's the sun that's giving me power. When you enlighten, you can't be a coward. Giving out knowledge like water in showers. We let it rain, we trying to gain more of the light instead of the darkness. Put my ego in a hidden compartment. In my own section like an apartment. I gotta start this. Taking my shot like a marksman. I'm painting the scene like an artist. They're looking at who with the farthest. I back it up, that's why I talk.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
I rarely do this for profit, and I'm only talking to bosses. Y'all, open up your mind, dig deeper inside, then see what you find. It's a vibe, get myself aligned, won't waste any time, this can't be defined. It's a vibe, Vibe Nation. We LIP, it's Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, Vibe Nation. We LIP.
Hey.
Let me teach you how to vibe.
LIP, okay. Pushing the positive, negativity, I see the opposite. I was thinking the movement was obvious, but I see that y'all really acknowledge it. I'ma put the agenda until it's ready. I carry the weight even though it's heavy. I carry the torch only if you let me. I'm deep in your mind, I'm a mental edgy. Yeah, it's LIP, living in peace. Asking me where do I find my relief. Wondering where
Ken was always first. Mono, Uplifting Souls, Javon James, Ryan Brown, Carlisle, Minor Panic, D Walker, What It Do Player, Nano, Impulse, Love and Light. Are y'all ready?
Open up your mind, dig deeper inside, then see what you find. It's a vibe, get myself aligned, won't waste any time, this can't be defined. It's a vibe, Vibe Nation. We LIP, it's Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, Vibe Nation. We LIP, Vibe Nation, yeah. We LIP, yeah. Love is a vibe, go by the creed, that's what we live by. We got some seeds that we tryna grow, so for the kids we ain't letting it slide. We tryna ride for the squad till the tires fall off, until they start.
Shout out to the ball boys in
Nashville.
Nashville.
We got a goal that we tryna meet.
Lock kick them one shoe plug in the city.
I gotta focus, I'm just like a camera. I don't take my eyes off the things that I need. Living our life with a spiritual balance. Respect the size of the yin and the yang. I know the good gonna come with the bad. Even in failure, there's lessons in the game. We gotta switch up the way that we think.
All right. It's almost time.
When it's wartime, we don't make peace. It's like
It's almost time.
Trying to put my people on a different way. Cause we
It's
lost,
almost
we don't know
time.
the way. Sometimes I really don't know what to say. Bet they gon' change even if not today. Y'all open up your mind. Dig deeper inside.
Hey.
Let me teach
Listen,
you how to
man.
vibe.
If you're watching on Facebook, like, comment, share, tap into the daily content. If you're watching on YouTube, podcasts go up at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Hit that like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel for the daily podcast, Shop Talk. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments of those. I'll make it part of the mailbag weekly. If you're watching on the Purple, if you're on Twitch, Amazon Prime, you can sub to the channel free once a month. It costs you
Let
no
me teach you how to vibe.
thing. Don't let Jeff Bezos put that money back in his pocket. Go ahead and spend that, even if it ain't on me, if it's on another creator. And if you're not watching on those, you should be watching on Kick. No ads, up to 50 emotes free, picture in picture. Tap into the daily content, man. Lock in with us. All right, let me make sure I'm caught up on everybody that part of the notification gang. Los, Barbershop Los in the building. Bald head boys and bring on the dreadhead. They said you got on the Amazon. New year, new money. They said heard the first game of the season. Hella people finna be bald. That would be lit, honestly. Like even if I gotta put like a toupee on, like a little fake bald head, you know, like a cone head type of thing. Big Bill say I've been waiting on you. We got to rap about Bill not being on first ballot. We can get into that. That I will make that a whole mailbag section just for you, my friend. We're gonna get into that. But first, we got to get into the topic of the day. One, William Mayonnaise Man Levis. Now, who made Will Levis's stock get even higher than he could possibly have gotten it himself? One, Malik Willis. Now, mind you, let me show you how God works. Ryan Tannehill is there. They draft Malik Willis. Ryan Tannehill does not want to mentor Malik Willis. We go in a spiral. There's a fight in the front office. We've been down this lane before, but some kind of way, Rand Carthon comes in, trades up, first pick in the second round. It's Will Levis. All the physical traits in the world, he just didn't have it between his shoulders, and he needed somebody to come in and groom him to get the most out of him. We've seen this. A good talent in a bad situation, maybe it just doesn't work. Maybe it's not Nashville. You trade Malik Willis after his first offseason with Brian Callahan. He shows improvement in preseason. The Green Bay Packers get him to back up Jordan Love. He comes back to Nashville, puts the belt on us. We all knew it was coming. About 70 yards rushing, 200 yards passing, and Malik Willis has been a great backup quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. He'll become a free agent this season. He'll probably get a nice little check. I'll be happy for him. When he was in Nashville, always had a positive attitude, despite everything that always happened with him. A faith-driven person, which I respect. And then here comes Will Levis. And then there's the fight between, do they want to keep Will Levis? Do they want to keep Ryan Tannehill? Ryan Tannehill's out after a high ankle sprain that he never recovered from, and then never picked up by any other team in the NFL as a veteran, which he could have been a solid veteran for somebody if he actually
Let me teach you how to
was the
vibe.
heel and his heart would be in it. But then Will Levis has an awful start with Brian Callahan, and then this offseason obviously goes under the knife to have a surgery on his shoulder. Not a team situation, a situation that he personally took it upon himself to do, looking out for his best interest in mind. And with that all being said, Malik Willis has laid the foundation for him to say, and his agent to say, I need a new home. I would like to go to be traded somewhere, and the Tennessee Titans could put something good on tape with his workouts and get some value in return. Now, I've been going back and forth with people the last 24 hours about should the Tennessee Titans keep him. It's a lot of people that want to keep him, and I say if he had 2 years left, I would say keep him, because then you got value if something happens with Cam Ward. But this is his last year. The Tennessee Titans ought to be tired of, even if Daboll was to get the most out of Will Levis behind the scenes and in preseason, if you don't trade him, then he grooms and gets himself ready and healthy to go to another team, and you get no trade value back. And then you have the contingency of people who say, well, what are we going to do with the 5th or 6th round pick? Maybe it could be, a starting right guard like Jackson Slater could be. It could be a starting nickelback and Marcus Harris. It could be, we don't have to go down the list of 4th and 5th and like day 3 talent that the Tennessee Titans have turned into, as well as other teams have turned into two good pieces. If that's the case, you didn't want to trade back from Draymond Jones, which was a 5th. You can't say Draymond Jones is a good trade to get a 5th, but then getting a 5th for Will Levis isn't a good 5th. He's a starting edge rusher that almost had double-digit sacks. You can't say that you don't want the value when you traded a 5th round pick and Jarvis Brownlee to get a 6th round, and then say, well, at least we got something. But then not want a 6th round pick back from Will Levis. You can't have Kenneth Murray Jr. get traded to the Cowboys, a player that you was going to cut and get a pick, and then say, oh, well, we don't want extra picks. We don't want extra draft picks, even though the front office is saying we need draft picks. And then you just go down the line of seeing what Bergonzi has done in day 3, especially last year, and saying give this guy as many swings at day 3 players as possible when you got to fill 30 spots on a 53-man roster with new talent coming in plus free agency. I like the draft and develop method myself. Now, this is different than the
Let me
coach
teach you how to
situation. That
vibe.
Daniel Jones is not under contract. Riley Leonard did not give them what they needed in a rookie, which he still has time to groom and develop. But this is Anthony Richardson's last year. It's different situation with Anthony Richardson. You want to keep him to see what he got because you know Daniel Jones will not be ready. Even if they say he's going to be ready.
Let
This
me
dude
teach
had
you
two of
how
the
to
most
vibe.
massive sports injuries you could possibly have, and rushing him back might, end his career. So you definitely want to take your time with that. So that's a different situation that gives that organization a first round pick, a top 5 pick, somebody that they can see what they still got. Right? Because we cut Traylon Burks early. We weren't able to trade. There's no trade value for him. But then he goes to the Commanders in the last year of his rookie deal and is as good as anybody that we got. We paying Tyler Lockett, Van Jefferson, and James Prochet and Mason Kinsey. I'm pretty sure that a healthy Traylon Burks is better than them. But that just goes to show you that Malik Willis has set the table for Will Levis to get traded. And they say, well, no, who's going to trade for Will? Who traded for Kenny Pickett? Who traded for Kenneth Murray? Who traded for Joe Milton? When people get desperate, they will trade for a
Let me
backup
teach you
QB
how to
or a
vibe.
QB they think could be a starter on a roster. And then people start talking about contracts. Okay, how hard is it to get a backup quarterback in the NFL? Who's the backup quarterback for the New England Patriots? Josh Dobbs, Tennessee Titan legend. Who's the backup for the Seahawks? Jalen Milroe, rookie quarterback, grooming behind Sam Darnold. Let's keep going. Who's the backup for the Rams? Jimmy Garoppolo, $3 million, a quarterback that's been to NFC Championship and Super Bowl. Groomed in New England. All right, go to the other side. Obviously, we know Jerry Stidham was the backup for Denver. We could just go down the line. Like, one of the only expensive backup quarterbacks that was in the playoffs is Davis Mills, who people argue probably should have played in the playoff game, or whether he did or didn't. Do you even know who the backup quarterback in Jacksonville is? Like, I've never seen a fan base so enamored with who the backup quarterback to a first round, number 1 overall pick, face of the franchise is, that you're bringing in Brian Daboll to come coach. I've never seen a team just be so excited about not wanting to get trade value back when your whole goal of your GM is to draft and develop as many players as he can. I've never seen this before. So, I mean, that's why we're here today. It's not that I don't think Will Levis can. I hope that Will Levis has a Sam Darnold in him, has a Geno Smith in him, has a resurgence. I mean, look at Mac Jones. The 49ers got Mac Jones for 2 years for $5 million. He's probably going to be the most sought after quarterback in free agency. You have Marcus Mariota. There's going to be a lot of free agent QBs that you could pick up as a guy who's just going to be a veteran presence. At the end of the day, if Cam Ward goes down, I don't care if Will Levis has 2 good games in week 10 and week 11. You can't trade him at that point. You get nothing for him. So all that means is he has a couple good games in week 10 and week 11 of next season, or to close out the season, and then he walks in free agency just like Derrick Henry did. You get nothing back. So I don't see this huge want to keep Will Levis around. Like, I like Will Levis, the player, but I like his skill set. I think he's got an unfair situation with the coaching staff. Maybe it wasn't so much of Will Levis and Malik Willis' talent. Maybe it was Brian Callahan and Tim Kelly and Todd Downing's lack of development. But at the end of the day, like, we're here to develop Cam Ward. Daboll is here for Cam Ward, not for Will Levis. And your GM didn't draft him. So to think that you could trade Jarvis Brownlee Jr. and Roger McCreary to make sure you get value back out of them, to think that Tavondre Sweat, a long shot, could be a person that could be traded, that almost anybody on this roster not named Cam Ward or Jeffrey Simmons could be traded this offseason, that wasn't brought in by Mike Bergonzi, to think that Will Levis shouldn't be traded for a 4th, 5th, or 6th round pick is preposterous in my mind. You know, people try to downplay a 5th or 6th round draft pick, and that's what your team is based upon. You know, you look at Kyle Monungai, Aronde Gasson, Krosky Merritt. We can just go around the list of guys that was drafted in day 3 in this last draft that wind up being good players. Actually, the pick that the New England Patriots traded Joe Milton for is their starting kicker. Borgalis. Did I say it right? This guy's gonna kick field goals in the Super Bowl. He's the guy he drafted with the pick they traded Joe Milton with. So, like, they're in the same situation. There's Drake May and Joe Milton. You trade Joe Milton and you get a draft pick. You're not gonna sit there and tell the New England Patriots trading Joe Milton for a 5th round pick is not important to them when they're rebuilding. And look what it led to. All right, now I can get caught up on y'all questions about this topic. I had to get through that. It was a slow burn. I was y'all know I got to get through the spiel, and then we'll get back into the questions. Arc Raiders, he said trade him after the draft. Why wouldn't you trade him before the draft if he put something good on tape? Like if Will Levis, if Will Levis gets a private workout and is slinging the ball, why wouldn't you trade him pre-draft? Now, I get what you're saying, because what you're saying makes sense. If you brought him back into camp and you worked him out and he had a good preseason, you get more value for the 27 draft by holding him. Maybe you increase him from a 6th to a 5th or a 5th to a 4th. Obviously, there's people in my comments that's like, you're not going to get the first pick in the 2nd round back for him. Like, duh, you're not getting the pick 33 back for Will Levis. But you can't tell me that a 4th, a 5th, or a 6th round pick for a team that has as many holes as the Tennessee Titans wouldn't be important. He said, I seen a tweet like Will Levis becomes Sam Darnold in the right system. I mean, I think anybody that's drafted in the 1st and 2nd round, given the right set of people around him, you know, people always talk about system guy. Like, well, ain't that what a coach scouting is for? I have a particular system and this guy fits the skill set. I can get the most out of him. Like, that's always a dumb take when I see people say that. 2 times, what up? Yeah, we early on today. Thoughts on Brown's new head coach? Was it a good hire? And my thoughts Jim Schwartz walked out the building. That was like, I was laughing at that. Like, y'all got rid of Stefanski to go to the Falcons, to have Jim Schwartz in the building with a defensive minded team, to bring in Todd Monken, who can't score points with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, to come in. But only thing I could think of it positive is that maybe Todd Monken was one of the reasons why they wanted to draft Shedeur Sanders in Baltimore anyways. And maybe they was trying to find somebody to come into Cleveland that really believed in Shedeur Sanders. So that's the only thing, Daniel, that I could think of it, is that somebody in the front office said, we got to get somebody that believes in Shedeur. But Jim Schwartz walking out after them getting Todd Monken definitely doesn't help the Browns late in the quarterback and in the coaching cycle. He said all y'all get for Will Levis is a Jimmy John's gift card. What do we get for Kenneth Murray? Tennessee Titans was gonna cut Kenneth Murray and the Cowboys traded for him. What do we get for that? What do we get for trading Jarvis Brownlee Jr.? What do we get for trading Roger McCreary? What do we get for trading D-Hop? What do we get for trading Ernest Jones? What do we get for trading Draymond Jones? It's amazing that the Tennessee Titans have traded a lot of people and got capital back, and somehow you think a quarterback that was taken pick 33 in the draft wouldn't get at least what Justin Fields and Kenny Pickett got. You just seen Joe Milton get a 5th round draft pick traded to the Cowboys for somebody who wants a quarterback that can groom to the future. Have you seen the quarterback market? Do you know that Daniel Jones may not play next season? Do you know that Mac Jones is the most sought after quarterback in free agency? Do you know that Dante Moore, quarterback 2, went back to school? That Trinidad Chambliss went back to school? That Ty Simpson and Carson Beck are your options 2 and 3 at quarterback after Fernando Mendoza, with a bunch of teams that need quarterbacks? What happened to Tank for Aller, Tank for Arch? What happened to Lenora Sellers? What happened to Cade Klubnik? All the people y'all said we shouldn't take Cam Ward for. And now, all of a sudden, Will Levis isn't worth a 5th or 6th round pick. Get out of here. High chance to trade after the preseason. So the Titans to get a higher pick in 26 and trade him before the 25 draft. Keep it for one off season. But this is the thing, though, if you could get a 5th round pick right now, would you really care if you waited a whole season to try to potentially take a 5th to a 4th? Man, give me the 5th round pick. Give me the 5th. Give me the 5 ball. They said, or you hit the lotto and draft a Puka, or a Tariq Woolen, who's going to be one of the most highly sought after corners in this draft was a late round pick. People got to stop sleeping on late round picks because they don't research. They don't look into the bulk of your team being guys from day 2 and day 3. Like that, like the Tennessee Titans have Reggie. They got Burke. They got Bergonzi. You got Brinker. You got 55 GMs in the building. I'm sure somebody can find somebody in day 3 to help the Tennessee Titans out. He said, I heard you're the new Tennessee Titans coach. No, it is Robert Saleh. He has a bald head and I got hair. Pass game coordinator. Yeah, Daniel Jones hurt both legs. And I'm not laughing because Daniel Jones had a hell of a year. He's 8-1 up until the point he got injured. I don't like this. I don't like injuries. You know, I don't like to bank on injuries and things like that. He said, and Richardson has a talent in the world. He just needs to be developed. The thing about Richardson is Richardson don't have a lot of time on task. Like if you go back from his college days all the way through pro, bro just don't got enough starts. He just need more time. Like he's a person that was more of a project than somebody that you could groom and get right in year 1 or year 2. You could double the value after the offseason, could make things work and get a 3rd or a 4th. I mean, shit, you could wait and get nothing though. That's the thing. Like what if he has a bad preseason and you can't move him? Why wouldn't you just move him and get the guaranteed 5th or 6th right now? Man, Facebook is ass, bro. Like, bro, I apologize for y'all that's watching on Facebook. Like, Facebook streams will always crash, bro. I don't know why. Like, Facebook streams will always crash. Like, let me see. Let's see. Like, bro, we got people in other places though. So, man, Facebook just gonna have to take a L today, bro. I like to get my recordings off of Facebook though. For some reason. Bears had Case Keenum. I think he helped Caleb settle down this year. But it's the thing though, like Case Keenum ain't making no money though. Like Titan fans act like getting a backup like Case Keenum. Like Brandon Allen is not under contract for the Tennessee Titans next year. I don't know if Titan fans and Titan people know that, but he's not under contract. Like he's getting 1.4 million. Like Case Keenum is 1 year, $2.2 million, bro. Like if you think we can't get something like that, like we got all the cap space in the world. Like saving $2-3 million on cap, get to trade Levis for a draft pick is more than worth it. The personnel coach, yeah, send me a check bill and I'll work remote. Titans got a really good coaching staff. If people would have said that the Titans was gonna get the people that they got in to become coaches, like nobody would have believed you, right? They would have thought that was a lie. If we said Saleh and Dabo and retaining Bones Fossil, we're potentially still adding more talent and getting White Cotton, people would be like, nah, man, Titan, they ain't coming to Nashville, man. The Titans suck, man. Nobody likes Amy Adams Strunk. And then when she get rid of Brian Callahan and everybody dogged her, now you realize that getting rid of Callahan was the best case scenario for the entire organization. And now they went out and hired some good coaches. Nobody gonna say that was smooth. They're just gonna say, oh, it's the Titans. They're gonna suck. Cam Ward is washed. The Jets, Cardinals, Steelers, maybe the Dolphins trying to bid for Levis. Not necessarily. I think the Jets is gonna take defense first and then double back on Ty Simpson at the bottom of the first. Cardinals, who knows what the new coach that takes over wants to do with Kyler Murray. He only got maybe 6 weeks to figure it out. Steelers, Aaron Rodgers is coming back. Will Howard is still there. Dolphins have Quinn Ewers and Tua. They stuck. Like Will Levis is more than likely a person that could go to say Cardinals. Will Levis is a person that could say maybe be in Las Vegas. Maybe Will Levis could find his way to some of those other teams, but I don't know. I don't know that Will Levis goes to the Steelers with Will Howard still being there, or the Dolphins with Quinn Ewers in too. Big Jeff, what'd he do? Tommy DeVito or Drew Lock about to get a ring? Both Giants backups. I mean, Josh Dobbs was a Titan backup. Ernest Jones. Like, it's a bunch of Titans that's gonna be there. We laughed at Tennessee because they said no one's to coach. Should have been laughing at Cleveland. I mean, I said that, bro. I was like, bro, people try to laugh. Like, listen, the Cleveland Browns had Mike Vrabel in the building. Like, now they with Todd Monken and Jim Schwartz walked out. But people think the Titans is the laughing stock. He said Levis to the Steelers. Only thing about them to the Steelers is, like, Aaron Rodgers is coming back and they got Will Howard. So I don't know if they load their quarterback room up like that. A team I can see, the Bengals. I can see, like, it sounds silly, but the Bengals finally had enough of old boy, and then Joe Burrow stay hurt. I see, like, Levis getting a shot at, like, what Willis got is a backup to the best case scenario is him to be a backup to a good player that he's going to have a good staff around him and good talent. Yeah, FB went out, so I just let the other ones rock. Oh, yeah, we on the other sites. Realistically, think y'all can get a third or fourth? I think if they're patient, they could get a third or fourth. It might not be for this year's draft. It might be next year. But also, too, I need as many possible picks as we can get this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they don't re-sign Okonkwo, which he's estimated to get, $11 million a year from Spotrac, like, if you're not going to get Kyle Pitts or you're not going to get Isaiah Likely or re-signing Chig, Rondé Gaston was a 5th round pick. You might want to start looking for diamonds in the rough. Like, in one of my mocks, I got Marlon Klein, I think in the 5th or 6th round. Like Joe Royer out of Cincinnati. It's going to be some decent tight ends that fall. Lawson Lucky. It's going to be some guys that might be around in that 5th or 6th round at tight end. So don't tell me that a Will Levis pick wouldn't be good to spill your Will Levis pick to turn into another safety, another corner, or another tight end, or a running back. Undefeated. Not gonna lie, 2.1 million was worth it. Yeah, it is. See, people like we had Brandon Allen for 1.4 million, and Will Levis is like 1.5 million. Who cares about spending an extra $2 million on a backup like Garoppolo or somebody if you're finna get a 4th, a 5th, or a 6th round pick that could turn into a starter? You know what I'm saying? Like, people just have to really look at the rosters of the teams that they follow and think about like Max Crosby is a 4th round pick. Okonkwo is finna get $11 million a year to play tight end. He's a last pick in the 4th round. Like Tariq Woolen, late round. Puka Nacua, like, people pick up good players in the later rounds. Like if right now, if we went through the guys that was drafted, like in the 5th and 6th round, like that's productive. Like, that's why I say, like, the New England Patriots drafted their kicker that's kicking in the Super Bowl, in the late rounds. Kyle Monangai. Like, I could just go down the list of productive players that you draft for Tennessee Titans sake. For people that are Titan fans, you talking about Cedric Gray, you talk about Gunnar Ham, DK Aomaner. These are the 4th round picks that we've drafted, in recent years. I just think that when you got chances with a good GM that has been scouting pretty good to swing in day 3, you give him as many shots in that 4th to 6th round to land some players like Marcus Harris that winds up turning into a starting nickel. Like those type of things happen. That's something that y'all should do. That's something that I do is when I'm on ESPN and I'm looking at depth charts, I'll click on somebody's profile, right? And I'll see, like, yo, where was this person? I'm gonna show y'all what I mean. I'll look and say, like, yo, where was this person drafted that is like, where was Max Hollins drafted?
Introducing our all-star lineup.
A 4th round pick 118. Jared Wilson, their left guard, round 3, pick 95. I can just randomly go through people's teams and look and see who is where. Like, where did they get this person from? A Tennessee Titan legend, Harold Landry, a 2nd round pick starting at edge rusher. Kaylavon Chaisson, a 1st round pick. Craig Woodson, last year a rookie, a starter, round 4, pick 106. Like, this dude's a starting free safety, and look where he was picked at. Marcus Jones, a Pro Bowler, round 3, pick 85. So I just don't buy into this this thought process that like getting day 3 picks, adding for Bergonzi to have, if the Ravens would have made their field goal, we would have had 2 fourths. But having pick 101 and then 2 in the 5th and then 2 in the 6th, like, and then you trade Will Levis and you have, let's say you got 3 shots in the 5th and 2 in the 6th, you could package that and move up into the 4th if you've seen somebody you really wanted and take another top 100 player off the board. You're going to pick at 4. You're going to pick at 35. You're going to pick at 66 and 101. If Ruben Bain and Arvell Reese come off the board at the Jets and the Cardinals, if the Raiders take Mendoza and they don't see another guy they want, if you're the Tennessee Titans and one of those 2 guys was your game changer at 4, trade back into the bottom of the top 10, do what the Browns did last year, and still load up. Like, think about what the Browns got. The Browns got they got their first round pick. They got the Jaguars' first round pick. They got Mason Graham. They got Carson Schlesinger, Judkins, Sampson, Harold Fanning, Shadur Sanders, and of course they wasted one of their picks on Dylan Gabriel. But you know, give them that 3rd round pick, another top 100 shot back. I guarantee they do it different. And just think about how many spaces on your roster you could fill if you thinking in those terms and telling me that in round 4 we picked Chimray DK, Gunnar Ham, Alec Aomaner, followed by Jackson Slater and Marcus Harris with Khalil Mullins. Like, you pick people that made your 53 and contribute. So I'm just not understanding this logic of wanting to hold on to Will Levis. And even if he gives you a couple of good games this season, the Tennessee Titans are not some playoff contender to where needing a backup quarterback could be the difference in us, you know, making a run or something like that. Like, you understand Garoppolo being on the Rams. You understand Davis Mills on the Texans. You understand teams getting a better backup quarterback like Mac Jones going to the 49ers for two years for $5 million when you got Brock Purdy dealing with injuries. Like, some of those things make sense, but if you're the Tennessee Titans and you building over from scratch, like, give me that extra shot at a day 3 pick between 4 and the 6th round, and let me see what I can come up with. Because if you like me and you love doing mock drafts, do 10 mock drafts and just record and screenshot what you get in rounds 4 through 6 in 5 straight drafts, and you start to see the type of players that's going to be dingling around. And then y'all watching the Senior Bowl, which is going to add some unnamed talent that nobody knew about, the scouts knew about, that's going to stuff in, that's going to push good players down. And then you're going to mess around and be in the draft and see some really good players still lingering around in the 5th and 6th round that you thought was going to be off the board, you know. And that's what you want, you know, like, and you want to be scouting and have a good board to where Titans might can get a offensive guard later in the 5th or 6th round. You know, Jackson Slater they should try him to start at right guard, unless they really feel like he's a center and they're gonna keep him at center behind Cush. But you know, you can filter your draft board by that, and then you could treat free agency completely different when you got Robert Saleh, White Cotton, and Dabo. You know, you start to look at players that are connected to them that could potentially come to the Tennessee Titans. Then the whole game plan changes in what you think you could get. You know, they're going to be running a wide nickel defense, and then Dabo is going to be looking for a dog to put opposite of receiver stacks that can work one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be looking for that dog either in free agency or in the draft. And I'm glad that finally some Titan fans is starting to wisen up that I've been saying either you're going to take a shot at Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson at 4, or you're going to trade back if your guys ain't there and say, give me 2 top 100 receivers in a deep receiver class. And you can't tell me that if I had Jacoby Lane and Zachariah Branch, or if I had Casey Concepcion and one of these dunkers out here, that we couldn't put 2 other guys in and say, I got 2 rookies with Aomaner, DK, and Restrepo, and then we bring back Van or Bryce Oliver as the sixth receiver that plays special teams that still can go out and catch you 30, 40 balls if they need to. Like you really need to start putting a better 53 on the board. I'm interested to see what they do at tight end though, because Gunnar Helm is tight end 1, but do they bring Chig back, or do they take a stab at Kyle Pitts, or take a stab at Isaiah Likely, or a guy like Cade Otton or somebody like one of the more physical guys? I like Marlon Klein out of Michigan. I think he'd be a good tight end if he fell in the draft around that 5th or 6th round. 6'6", 250. I want them big bruisers that's gonna punch people. You know what I'm saying? Like people ain't gonna want to tackle them, and they good in the run blocking. So that's what I think the Tennessee Titans need. They got a really good tight ends coach that helps in the run game coordination and Luke Stocker. So like I'm interested to see what the tight end room look like. But that's enough about Tennessee Titans trading Will Levis. That's definitely gonna be a segment. And the question of the day, we had this question from the chat. I forgot who it was. I don't want to give nobody credit. I forgot who said it, and y'all take credit when I say it in the chat. But this Bill Belichick situation. But let's go back. Let's go back from Bill Belichick and let's go to Cam Newton. There's a thing in the media that I don't like, that people are just starting to. We're all looking at a hamburger, and we all say this is a hamburger, but the media is saying it's a chicken sandwich. We know this is a hamburger. It's not a chicken sandwich. We know that Cam Newton was behind Tim Tebow on one of the greatest college runs of all time with Urban Meyer at Florida. We know how great that team was. We know he left Florida and went to Glenn College and won a championship in a lower tier division. And then we know he came back to the SEC with Auburn and won a national championship. And then we knew he went to the NFL to be Rookie of the Year and go to a Super Bowl. So how is it that if Cam Newton, the run he had in college, which is championship team to championship team to championship team, whatever level or whatever school, at the hardest degree of difficulty, is if his career in college is not worth being a first ballot Hall of Famer, I don't care about Hall of Fame or nothing that they doing about college Hall of Fame ever again. Like I don't care who you pick. It's not topping what Cam Newton did as a quarterback in college. Then we turn and get to the NFL and they do it again with Bill Belichick. All right. College football playoffs was all Nick Saban's sons, the sons of Saban. Golden, Dan Lannon, Kurt Signetti, all them Lane Kidd, all them guys is sons of Saban, right? Then you turn around and say, well, what tree does Nick Saban come from if the entirety of college football is the tree of Nick Saban, the sons of Saban, the greatest college football run in modern history, come from the Belichick tree? And then when you look in the Belichick tree, who's in the Super Bowl now? One of the sons of Belichick is Mike Vrabel and McDaniel. And you should just look at and see, like, all throughout the NFL is people from Belichick's tree. And you talk about 20-year dominance of winning the division, a third of a 20-year span being in the Super Bowl. We talking about like over half of the times you in the AFC Championship pretty much every year, and just completely dominating. And then we saying like Bill Belichick is not first ballot Hall of Fame. If you don't like him and his young girlfriend, if you don't like the hats that Cam Newton wear, like, y'all gotta leave y'all differences to the side and just start saying like what we all witnessed and what we all watched was complete greatness and utter domination. And somehow you're gonna sell me on somebody else being more valuable to the Hall of Fame than Bill Belichick in the NFL and Cam Newton as a player in college football. Like, who can you name that's gonna top what they did at their respected levels and the trees that came from up under them? Like, people just have to start saying like, I don't like that person. Like, there's no reason that Bill Belichick should not be first ballot, or in college that Cam Newton should not be first ballot. Like, this shouldn't even be a thought. It's like when you get your ballot already at the top of the thing, it should not have no barcodes or nothing. Like, already Bill Belichick should be checked in for NFL, and for college for Cam Newton, it should already be checked in. Like, they shouldn't even have to go look at it. It should just already, like, who else are you voting for outside of them. Like they're already checked in. You don't get to vote. I'm sorry. Like this is already penciled in. Like I've never seen nothing like that. And I just think that's like crazy and ridiculous that they decided to do that to Bill Belichick, like trying to humble him, trying to humble Cam Newton. Like if I was them, I would say like I honestly would not even care about it. Like if I'm Cam Newton, the time I do get voted in, I just walk up there and like say a prayer and walk off. You know, I don't even give a speech. If I'm Bill Belichick, I come up there with like the sleeveless sweatshirt, walk up there and do like one of the Bill Belichick, I don't like talking to the media, God first in the chat, one-liners, and walk off with the girl with the young girlfriend doing yoga poses on the way out. Like I don't even give him that much respect. That's what I'm saying. Like, are you gonna, like, is Tom Brady not gonna be first ballot? You know, like when Andy Reid hangs it up, is him and Patrick Mahomes not gonna be first ballot? Like, what are we doing these days where like things that are completely obvious? And I use the analogy of there's a hamburger right here. We all see it. And then they're telling us it's a chicken sandwich. Like, no, it's a hamburger, bro. Like it's a hamburger, bro. Like it's not a chicken sandwich. And that's what they telling us, that what we looking at doesn't make sense. Like that's absolutely crazy. Like it's absolutely crazy. All right, let me get caught back up in the comments. He said, I think the Titans look completely different next year. I think I'm beyond excited. Who the DB coach is? I forget the name of the guy that they like. But you know, it's people that got connections to Saleh. They should have threw Will Howard out there when they put Mason Rudolph out there when Aaron Rodgers missed them couple of games. I would have liked to see what Will Howard had because we already know what Mason Rudolph is, bro. I don't want to see no more. I don't want to see no more Mason Rudolph at all. He said T'Vondre Sweat not getting traded. He could. Why wouldn't he though? The Vikings. Yep. I can see the Vikings. I can see Kevin O'Connell being done with 9. I said that a few years ago and some people got mad. I said 9 ain't worth a first round pick. They was cussing me out. I said, who feels stupider now, like letting Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones go to play 9? The more picks, the merrier. I mean, why you don't think Sweat getting traded when he wasn't drafted by Bergonzi and he don't fit Robert Saleh's scheme? If Jeffrey Simmons tell him to come to Dallas with him and he declined this year, and Jeffrey Simmons tried to take T Sweat to train with him this offseason. You see how Jeffrey Simmons and JC Latham look when they came back to camp. T'Vondre Sweat started the season off with getting his tonsils removed and being on IR. So I mean, if he do that again this year, I could see them moving him. I mean, T Sweat could be crazy, but if he not gonna get the work ethic, then I could see Bergonzi moving on. Titans beat the Pats. Zay, what up? Former head coaches as both the head coach and OC. You're Luther Burden. Now Luther Burden went early because we was gonna draft Luther Burden. He was the second round pick. We were supposed to take Luther Burden, but we traded out and got Femi and Kevin Winston, which was the right move. No, I like Gunnar Helm as tight end 1, but Chig Okonkwo been the most productive pass catcher the last 4 years. He ain't missed a game. So if you think about like putting all your eggs in one basket with Gunnar Helm, then David Martin Robinson is the only other tight end on the roster. You're going to have to go out and get another tight end to go with it because you're going to want to run twin tight end sets with the Titans. Like think about the Niners. The Niners going to have a bunch of good teams have multiple tight ends. Like Tennessee Titans need good tight ends. Yeah, it was criminal. Sweat don't fit where he's. Yeah, I mean, Sweat is a 2-down player unless he lose some weight. The political side you don't like. I mean, Bill did a lot for the NFL. Combined. He said, where was the protest for Terrell Owens? Terrell Owens is a dog. He's one of the greatest receivers. If you've been in the shop for a minute, we did like a breakdown on top receivers of all time. But we talking about Bill Belichick in NFL. We talking about like the most Super Bowls. Like Terrell Owens is one of the GOATs, but Terrell Owens and Randy Moss don't got the Super Bowls that Jerry Rice got. So it's not like such a shoe-in when you talk about certain players. We talking about Cam Newton winning championships on 3 different teams in college and going to the NFL and going to Super like that's just crazy. That's just ridiculous. Like Bill Belichick, bro, we talking about like dominating an era, and the coach that he birthed, Nick Saban, dominating college. So like you and your son dominating for the last 20 years of college and pro on the same football tree is completely different than Terrell Owens. Off the field shouldn't impact. But I mean, like, then we gonna get, let's not even get into Major League Baseball. Can't deny greatness. We ain't trading him. He out here training with Big Jeff. Gonna say no sweat. Gonna be all pro next season. Just watch. I mean, I like Tavondre Sweat. Y'all know I was like clamoring for Tavondre Sweat. I had him on my mock draft when we picked him. I jumped up and down. I just need him to get right with JC and Jeff in that gym, because we need him to play 3 downs if he gonna stay out there. You can't be a top pick in the second round and be a 2-down player, especially playing a wide 9. Like he gonna have to cover more ground. It's just the fact they put the game plan, they beat the Biz and Super League and Hall of Fame, documented how he's not in the Hall of Fame. DJ Moore could be traded, but I advise to stay away. DJ Moore was part of the big trade for the Bears. I mean, they got DJ Moore, they got like 2 firsts and 2, like they loaded up. Like that was getting Caleb Williams, the starting right tackle, a D tackle. Like they got a lot. And DJ, like when you get traded, 1,000-yard receiver in like 2 firsts and 2 seconds, that's just crazy. What the Bears got for Bryce Young pick. Lose some of them candy bars, man. Like you out there at 360 in the Nashville Heat, and then your first game, you finna go to the Mile High last year, and he missed the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Like you can't have that. You got like not working out with Jeffrey Simmons and then missing the first month of season is like something that I know the new organization not gonna go for. Big Jeff making it a goal. Sweat gonna be down 20 pounds. So I mean, let's just say he don't get the physical part right, and the Titans decide to trade him for a 4th round pick or something like that, and then go get another D tackle in free agency that's more athletic. I mean, that could happen, bro. Like, bro, they said that Roger McCreary and Jarvis Brownlee wasn't fit. Like, Roger McCreary was a 2nd round pick, like these is high value picks that they move. I just don't see why people don't think that Bergonzi wouldn't deal anybody. DJ Moore, some picks for Max Crosby. We just waiting on the Raiders to answer. You got a question? Shoot. I'm caught up on the chat now, man. It took me a minute, man, because once I get in the spiel, I get to going. You feel me? Shoot the question, man. We 50 minutes in, man. If you ain't already hit that like, comment, share, tap into the daily content. If y'all do me a favor, man, go on my page on the YouTube, like, comment on all the YouTube videos. Our restrictions was removed on YouTube January 25th. They've been on my channel since October, so I had to wait like some months to get that off my page, and now we're getting better visibility. So y'all do me that good solid every morning at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time when I break the shop talk down into smaller pieces and put them out on YouTube, 7 o'clock every morning. If y'all could like, comment if you got any questions that you missed or you missed part of it and want to watch it back, that's where you find it. Yeah, they're gonna hold people accountable, and that's what we need. Because you heard on Bustin' with the Boys, Big Jeff just saying that the last regime just didn't hold nobody accountable. Couldn't put nobody foot to the flame. Because I want to coach this. Like, why don't you want to go work out with Jeffrey Simmons? He's regarded as the best interior defensive lineman in football. Like, why don't you want to work out with him? Why don't you want to get better? Who the DC gonna be? They haven't picked yet. I seen Tic Tac Titans and a few other people talking about some names of people that have connections to Robert Saleh. You know, the first name that floated out was Al Harris. If it's Al Harris, I would be more than happy to have somebody that's gonna get the secondary, right? But I think it's Ulbrich and somebody else that they was talking about, but I can't be for certain. At this point, who cares? I know Saleh gonna have his hands on the defense. Like, the OC was the real problem for me, and then having Daboll pretty much CEO the offense, and then Bones Fossil CEO the special teams. Like, he probably pretty much gonna get their pick at whatever Robert Saleh want to do with the defense. The new DC wants to spin Overshown into 3-4 on the edge. There's a lot of really being just fit to know whether you think he built for that, because I'm stuck how I feel. I mean, Dallas Cowboys got athletic players. Overshown, Ezraku, like y'all got some Quentin Williams, like y'all got talented people, and y'all got 2 first-round picks. So it almost don't even matter what they want to do with it, Jeff, because they'll put him in the position to where he'll best fit, and y'all got 2 first-round picks. Like, that's one thing the Cowboys do have is the Cowboys, the Rams, the Browns, the Jets all have multiple first-round picks. The Browns, like, you got 5 teams that got 2 first-round picks this year. Like, whatever y'all don't got, Big Jeff, y'all can go get. Yo, White Cotton ain't going for it right there. So I'm saying, like, if he get out there and he tired and lazy and can't and don't step his game up, which I prayed that Tavondre Sweat turn into the player we all think he can be, which is just mean and nasty and just eat blocks up and just cause complete disruption up front next to Jeff, to where if you do bring in a Ruben Bain, or if you get a Jalen Phillips or a Kayvon Thibodeau or Arvell Reese or Keldrick Falk, David Bailey, whoever they going to get, you know, like I like to see some 2-man game, some stunting and some just complete disruption up front. You know what I'm saying? Please don't take Al Harris away. He gonna be looking over the defense anyway. That's what I'm saying, man. Come on, Al, and bring Wright with you too. If y'all want it, you know what I'm saying? Bring Wright with you too. Ravens got some good coaches so far. Who all the Ravens got? I know them Browns looking sick. Somebody finna get Jim Schwartz, because Jim Schwartz won't act. And the Cowboys said on offense they need to get the defense together now. Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs. This man Jeff is going for the fancy. That man said, give me Sonny Styles and Caleb Downs on defense. That's one hell of a draft. That's one hell of a draft if y'all drafting that. I don't think you get 2 players off the same team though. Man, I can't believe the Facebook part cut out, but that's to be expected. And my birthday coming up February 2nd. Hopefully all my stuff come in so I can unbox some of my stuff that I'm upgrading the stream room with. That'll be next, and then I'll hopefully in the month of February I can start building a PC, one for myself and one for my daughter. But that's up in the air, bro. I'm subject to life. Sonny, the best linebacker I've seen in a long time. He good. I ain't gonna say he the best. I mean, Jahad Campbell that the Eagles got is dirty. Like, you know, like, I don't think people realize how good Jahad Campbell is. I mean, we seen Carson Swetzinger last year on the Browns. And sometimes people just wind up being on teams that you don't really get to see what they can do. Falcons, O-line, and run game coordinator. Okay. Yeah, I heard it. I heard that on the radio. I couldn't put the name to the face. He said, hey, you already know February is where it's at on the 16th. Equimini. It's him and I. Dun, 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 dun. He said, I think Caleb might make it to 12 though. I don't think so. I don't think Caleb Downs make it out the top 10, but he could though, because Malachi Starks fell. You know, sometimes safeties fall. It just depends, man. Like, this is an odd year. That's why I say Browns got 2, Jets got 2, Rams got 2, Cowboys got 2. Like, all these teams got 2 first round picks, and some of these teams are going to be able to pick. Like, the Rams are going to have a top 10 luxury pick. You know, the Jets, if they want to wait on Ty Simpson later, is going to be able to take their shot at 2 or whatever they want to get. A luxury pick damn near. You know, like, the Chiefs is going to have a top 10 pick. That's a luxury pick for the Chiefs. So it's like, you know, it's going to be some good players that get swept up by the Chiefs and the Rams and teams that ain't normally up there that just happen to be like Commanders. Commanders was in the NFC Championship last year. Jaden Daniels comes back healthy next year. They got to figure their OC and DC out. But, you know, Commanders is going to have a luxury pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the team I think may take a dog at receiver and let Deebo Samuel walk. Like, Deebo Samuel might walk and they might take Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate. This guy, a quarterback coach for Cam. Yeah, Watts, Kevin Winston Jr., we got him in the 3rd. You know, it's like sometimes people fall. Watts is a dog too. So I'm like, Tennessee Titans got a lot of money. Now that you got Daboll, you got to think about all the players connected to him. You got Saleh. You think about the players connected to him. White Cotton. You think about the players connected to him that, you know, and if you bring in Al Harris, you know, we got people that's connected to him. Like, you're going to have coaches that players are going to want to come play for. And I think that's what's going to make the Titans free agency get better, because if we'd had Matt Nagy and Billy Bob Thornton, you know, whoever else at coach, I don't think we get any of those players. But people are going to want to play for Saleh. People are going to want to play for White Cotton. They're going to want to play for Daboll. It said, didn't they sign Debo to like a 3-year deal? Let me look on Spotrac. I thought Debo was a free agent. Hold up. Debo signed a 1-year, $17 million contract with the Commanders, including $15 million signing bonus and $15 million guaranteed. In 2026, Samuel will earn while carrying a cap hit of $12 million and a dead cap value of $12 million. So he's a unrestricted free agent in 26. I think Cuz can get out of there. Haven't been this happy for a draft. You got 2 first-round picks, you should be happy. That's kind of what I try to show people though. Like, if you go to Spotrac and you just go to ESPN and look at depth charts and look where teams is at and where players is at, like, you can start to get a good feel of who's gonna go where. I think they gave Terry McLaurin. I think they gave Scary Terry the money. I don't think it was Debo. Yeah, Scary Terry had a 3-year, $97 million contract. $30 million signing bonus, $44 million guaranteed. Potential out ain't to 27. So it's Scary Terry that got the bag from the Commanders, not Debo. So Debo is back on the market, and the Commanders could take that number 6 pick and take a receiver. And pair, like, you could pair Carnell Tate with Scary Terry, then or you know. Titans got the coaches, to be honest. They just need the players. You think the Rams receivers should get paid more? I think Tay is getting paid pretty good. I mean, it's really just Tay and Puka. It's just Tay and Puka. Puka Nacua is getting a 4-year, $4 million deal. He'll get a mega deal. I think 26 is his contract year. They'll probably extend him and get him a super bag. Let's see. And wrong spot. I think they'll probably give Puka a super. Like Tennessee Titans need to extend Jeffrey Simmons and Peter Skoronski. Let me look at Tay Adams. See what he getting paid. Yeah, Tay Adams is getting $28 million next year. He's 33. Tay Adams got $26 million this past year. And then this year he's getting $28 million. They could take an out on him, but they had to eat $14 million. Tay Adams will be back at age 34 with a $28 million cap hit. So Puka finna get the bag, and then Tay Adams is getting paid. I think that's fine. As a Bears fan, I don't give a fuck them picks this year. Go get Greg Scrabble or Trey Henderson. It's kind of prove it deal. This is when to get paid and pay him 2028. Titans, Cowboys, Super Bowl next year. Stop the cap. I was just finna say Carnell Tate with Scary Terry. Yeah, or Jordan Tyson. Either one of those. Or Bakai Lemon. Like, pick one of them three to Commanders is a luxury pick. He said, Buddha, WCW 2026, Bill Ballgerd and Sting. Man, what up, Bada? He said trade for Jay Jettis. I mean, you gotta give up the house for Jay Jettis. All right, now one of them teams that got 2 first-round picks, I can see trading for Jay Jettis. You know, like the Rams got 2 first. They could trade for Jay Jettis. Puka Nacua, Jay Jettis, and Tay Adams. That's crazy. The Jets. I don't see Jay Jettis going to the Jets. Who else? The Browns got 2 first, but they not gonna burn on Jay Jettis. Who is the other team that got 2 first? It's Browns, Rams, Cowboys. Cowboys don't need them. They got to pay Pickens. Yeah, I can see the Rams throwing their 2 first for Jay Jettis. That's cheating though, bro. Come on, man. Come on. That's just cheating. That's just cheating. He said Dallas could take. Why would you trade 2 first for Max Crosby though? Bro, you could, like, y'all gonna pick twice in the first round, bro. You could take 2 guns. Like, y'all gotta stop. Like, y'all ain't one player away, bro. Y'all need to go draft, bro. What I say about your Cowboys? He asked me to trade 2 first round picks for Max Crosby. I said, nah, y'all need to hit the draft. What would be nasty, but you can see how it looked. The Chiefs and the Eagles. Oh, bro, if the Chiefs get Jay Jettis, man, and still have Rashee Rice, they said Tom Brady had Welker, Moss, and Starwar, and Gronk. Don't forget Gronk. I'm wondering who trading away uncertain Montgomery gone. Yeah, I can see that. I can see David Montgomery being done in Detroit. I don't know. Detroit, like, y'all weird, man. Y'all got talent. I don't know what's up. I just think y'all lost y'all coaches and fell off. And y'all got Drew Petzing coming in from Arizona. Like, I don't know if that's y'all going backwards. Y'all going bike. You can't let Mahomes have Jay Jettis. You said that was baby Gronk, though. Hernandez was the tight end one. Man, imagine if they still had Gronk and Aaron Hernandez and he didn't go the way he went. Aaron Hernandez was a dog, bro. As a NFC North Lions back to the basement, yeah. Lions is, y'all had like 5,000 first round picks for Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford then cooked while y'all been over there, and y'all let Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson go. Ben Johnson and left and came back and beat y'all ass. Ben Johnson basically walked out the house and then went across the street to the house next door and then came over and cut y'all grass and put his feet on the table and shit. Like, he really disrespected y'all. He really disrespected. He said Jaguars grab top 3 wide receiver. Jaguars got Brian Thomas Jr., who they don't throw the ball to, Parker Washington, Jacoby Meyer, and Travis Hunter, who they traded this year's first round pick for. Who is going to play? There's no way you getting another receiver, bro. Y'all got 4 receivers. Brian Thomas had 2 targets for 2 catches and a touchdown in the playoffs, and y'all was too busy trying to throw Jacoby Myers the ball. Jaguars are going back to the cellar. Y'all had y'all chance. Y'all going back to the cellar, cuz. And then there was something, that documentary and show got me conflicted how to feel about him and put mental health into perspective. But like he was really like that before all that. You know, it's like the guy's got a crazy story. It's just unfortunate to see somebody so talented end up that way. He said, "That's your coach, by the way." That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, and when I see these teams getting these old ass coaches, getting Todd Monken and Mike McCarthy, they're getting these old ass coaches. Like, bro, Mike McDonald, we get these teams just getting these young coaches just coming in and putting belt on folks. Like, he ain't getting no old coach who fumbled more than the Vikings with Sam Darnold or the Titans with Vrabel. Obviously, the Vikings. You gotta think, like, y'all be saying Mike Vrabel Titans as if Mike Vrabel won 6 games in 2 years on his way out. He just had a power struggle with the front office. Y'all don't talk about Stefanski and Vrabel was on the Browns, and now neither one of them is there. And Mike Vrabel went from Cleveland to New England. He didn't go straight from Tennessee to New England. He went from the Titans to Cleveland, helping them out, and then went to New England. So you can't just say, oh, the Titans, because that nigga won 6 games in 2 years. Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, and then 9, and then not being able to get Jay Jettis the ball. The Vikings look like they dropped the ball. He killed y'all. And then on top of that, think about the Seahawks. Seahawks let Lockett go to the Titans. They let DK Metcalf, let the Steelers get him half of Pittsburgh to come play over there. And then they let Pete Carroll go to the Raiders. They had already let Russell Wilson go. They let Geno Smith walk. The Seahawks let everybody walk, and Mike McDonald double back on them, and then got Sam Darnold, JSN, Cooper Kupp, traded for Rashid Shaheed off the Saints, had Torrey Horton, AJ Barner, Arroyo, like K9, and Charbonnet even got hurt. Bro, they spun the block, traded us and got Ernest Jones back, and then went to the Super Bowl. You talk about a team spinning the block. They let everybody lead and then spent the block on everybody. DeMarcus Lawrence. Can we get Micah Parsons on the podcast talking about DeMarcus Lawrence, how he said he was never going to do nothing on the Cowboys, and DeMarcus Lawrence in the Super Bowl. He don't want to see him coming. Impulse, what it do? He said you didn't know that Vrabel went. Yeah, he was a coaching assistant in Cleveland, and people was wondering when Mike Vrabel got there, was Cleveland going to push Stefanski out the door and let Vrabel take over? That's what people thought. And then Vrabel just eased on past Cleveland and is now in New England, and then Stefanski is out at Cleveland and in Atlanta. And then all the Titan people that was crying about Stefanski, please get Stefanski, he's such a good coach, man, Stefanski. Then he went over there to Atlanta and hired everybody we fired in Nashville. Falcons go backwards. Falcons ended the season with 4-game winning streak. They're going to have a 4-game losing streak to start next year. Take a coach that couldn't figure out a quarterback controversy and put him on a team with another quarterback controversy. My man say I'm not going to win the Super Bowl in Dallas. Same year in Super Bowl, man. Sam Darnold, people was on Sam Darnold neck because of the bad game against the Rams, but they just couldn't protect him. The Rams was killing his ass that game. It's the only person who doesn't say the whole name. it's interesting, bro. Like, just to see the NFL and where it's at, like, it's a lot of craziness going on right now, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see how this free agent and this draft period go. The finalizing of this coaching staff. I'm ready. I think everybody is starting to figure out that I had to come in here today in the shop and figure out why people didn't want to trade Will Levis for a day 3 pick from a team that needs to sign about 30 players, including their rookies, to roster. And I want to show y'all what I mean by this, because I like to give a visual. I don't need to have anybody spoon feed me information, but if you go to Spotrac and you go to your next year, you got to know that Arden Key is not under contract, and that's just that yellow just means money. And you go look and see it, the people that will be under contract next year, that a lot of these guys at the bottom are guys that are on futures. So you really cut those futures off about right here. You cut those futures off, and you start thinking about how many different people that the Tennessee Titans need to sign to contract. Obviously, people think that Ridley and Snead will not be back with the Tennessee Titans. Tony Pollard has only got $2 million guaranteed if they want to move on from him. Obviously, Arden Key is not under contract. Tajay and Tony Pollard on their last years. Will Levis is on his last year. You know, the question is, the jury's still out about T-Sweat. Then when you start getting down here, Mason Kinsey, is anybody concerned about them cutting him? You talk about Timothy Horn, Kendall Brooks, Ali Gay, Sanusi Kane, Eric Hallett, Truman Jones, Blake Watson, Michael Robinson, Dorian Mausey, Drew Moss, Cam. Like, bro, these are guys that are going to be practice squad guys. Titans legitimately got to sign 20 to 30 people, including their rookies, with this free agent pile of cash that they got. So, like, this whole thought that trading Will Levis is like the immovable piece, and then you go down every single playoff team that's in the playoffs and look at their backup quarterbacks, and all these guys are guys who are making league minimum. They could get a job done. Like, I've never seen a team take a number 1 overall pick and then hire coaches that want to come in and coach him, who care so much about who's the backup quarterback that's on the last year his contract is. And people talk about Brandon Allen as if he's still signed to the Tennessee Titans. Brandon Allen is not signed to the Tennessee Titans anymore. He's gone, cuz, like, I'm lost. He said, I know DK feels sometimes. Do you think that the Vikings would have back Sam like Seattle did? Think about it. They went to him and got a veteran wide receiver, won a Super Bowl, rising star. You trade for Speedster in the middle of the year. I mean, the Vikings didn't need to. You know, TJ Hawkinson, Jay Jettis, Addison, like, they got talent at receiver. 9 just is, he ain't it. People dog Shador and Cam Ward, but they don't say nothing about 9. He said Levis need to get out of Tennessee. He do. I think it'll be the best case scenario for him. He needs a fresh start. I think Callahan and Tim Kelly did something to him. I think he needs to restart like Willis did. Hopefully he goes to a team that can groom him. I mean, look what Kyle Shanahan has done with Mac Jones, revitalizing him. Look at what LaFleur has done with Malik Willis. You know, obviously you just need to get the quarterback who's talented to get with the right set of coaches and the right thing around him. And I mean, look at Drake May and Caleb Williams. People wrote them both off last year after the year that Jaden Daniels have, and then look, Drake May is in the Super Bowl and Caleb Williams won the North and balled out. So, you know, people wrote those guys off until they got Ben Johnson and Mac Daniels coming in to help them get better, which I think Daboll will do for Cam Ward. I still think Lawrence is a clown. Mercer time in Dallas makes the question like jump. But sometimes, like, when them guys be saying that, maybe it wasn't that, Jeff. Maybe it was Dallas and the culture that he needed to get away from. He's saying like guys was too focused on other stuff and not football. Like, I mean, you can't help an injury, but it's something to be said that he was right. Need about 20 players, easily need 20 players. But I think you need 30 though, because a lot like these guys that I showed you that's from 30 and down is like guys that were practice squad that was elevated at the end of the season. I mean, when you have 3 safeties go out in the 49ers game to all go on IR and you have to sign 3 safeties, like these are guys that you sign in the futures that are probably going to be practice squad guys. Addison not close to JSN. What do you mean? Like JSN is the number 1 receiver on the Seahawks, and Jay Jettis is the number 1 receiver on the Vikings. You would be saying that Addison is not close to Cooper Kupp. Like Cooper Kupp hadn't had some crazy productive year. He's been a solid veteran. Hey, see, like that's what you can't do. You can't try to take a number 1 and compare him to a number 2. Like who's comparing Addison to the number 1 on the Seahawks? JSN led the league in receiving. You would compare him to Jay Jettis. You would compare him to Jamar Chase. You wouldn't compare him to the number 2. Like the Vikings, what I'm saying is the Vikings don't have a deficiency of talent at wide receiver. They don't. Their problem is their quarterback. And they got Kevin O'Connell, so they got a good coach. It said Levis can go to Tampa Bay and back up Baker. Similar skill set. Levis is more athletic. D-Law helped build the culture. He was a defensive captain. Bill, like, bro, do you want to have this debate, bro? Like, do we want to go pull up Cooper Kupp's numbers this year? Let's pull up Cooper Kupp's numbers this year. Cooper Kupp has been a shell this year. That's why the Rams let him go. Tate Adams on the Rams as a 2 has been way better than Cooper Kupp this year. Like, are we gonna do this? Like, or are you just gonna say, bro, I was wrong? I just threw some shit out there. We're gonna pull up Cooper Kupp's season. Cooper Kupp is a solid veteran guy, but they got Shaheed and Horton. Cooper Kupp had 47 catches for 593 yards and 2 touchdowns. Are we really saying that Cooper Kupp is out there just doing some wild shit? He's a solid veteran. Compared to Cooper Kupp's stats in his career, like this is clearly his wall where he's on the downward slide. Let's pull up Cooper Kupp. Since that 21 Super Bowl, he had 800 yards, 700 yards, 700 yards, and 500 yards. We're not saying that Cooper Kupp is the same Cooper Kupp from 2021 in the Super Bowl Triple Crown year. He's not that no more, bro. And we go back and we go to the Vikings and look at Jordan Addison and say that Jordan Addison had a more productive year with 9 at quarterback than Sam Darnold and Clint Kubiak playing next. As a 2, Cooper Kupp is a very great 2 to have. But we're not going to sit here and act like Cooper Kupp at this stage in his career is going to do any more than what Jordan Addison is doing. We're not doing that. He said, take the numbers out and let's not look at it. You the one saying that you tried to make a 1 versus a 2. You trying to take JSN versus Addison. I said, no, take JSN versus Jay Jettison, then take the 2 versus a 2. They're even. You taking Cooper Kupp at this stage in his career. Why wouldn't you take a 24-year-old receiver? Why would you want a 30-some-year-old receiver at the end of his career versus a 24-year-old you can grow with? I'm confused, bro. Like, this is the point when you say, bro, I was talking and I got it mixed up. I got a 1 mixed up with a 2. You see what I'm saying? You compared wrong and I was trying to stop you because you was like, you was going apples to oranges. And I'm saying, stop comparing the 1s and 1s. If I had Jordan Addison, if I had Cooper Kupp or Devontae Adams, or I had George Pickens, or I had T. Higgins as my 2, I swear to you, the receiver ain't the problem. Let's get back to the part of the conversation. Receiver ain't the problem in Minnesota. Because the whole conversation was the Vikings, it's not like they don't have talent. It's just they got a receiver problem. Aaron Jones, T.J. Hockenson, Jalen Naylor, Jordan Addison, and Justin Jefferson. It's clearly a quarterback situation in Minnesota. He said, I can trust Cooper Kupp to be where he's supposed to be. I trust Jordan Addison will be where he's supposed to be. Like, just think next year, I don't know what the contract looked like. I can go look at it. I guarantee with Rashid Shaheed and Torrey Horton, I don't think Cooper Kupp is the future in Seattle, regardless of what happened. Because you got like that's why they traded for Rashid Shaheed. Rashid Shaheed will be the number 2 on the Seahawks next year. Yeah, I mean, they could eat cap and his contract could be up if they wanted to get out. They got to out on Cooper Kupp this year. Because he's a 3-year, $45 million contract that he's still under. Be more than happy to let Cooper Kupp go at the end of the season and let Shaheed and Horton be the 2 and 3 behind JSN. All right, y'all. Man, this is an hour and a half, 90 minutes on Shop Talk. Make sure y'all tap into the YouTube. I will be back live later tonight. We'll continue to go on, but it's family time, man. God first in the chat. I'll catch y'all boys later. Appreciate y'all, man.